Hi, Timothy Unkert here, and welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to cover lists in Python. And in this tutorial, I'm going to create 4 lists with names from my favorite TV show, which is Supernatural. If you're following along, you can use whatever names you want. And we're going to use, once we've created those 4 lists, we're going to use methods that are commonly used on these lists to manipulate the lists. So let's get started. All right. I'm going to create a human list here, and the human list is going to include Bobby, Sam, Dean, Joe, and Mary. Okay. I'm also going to create an Archangels list because this is a supernatural show and it has archangel characters. So that's going to be Michael, Lucifer, Raphael, and Gabriel. Okay. The show also has deities, so I'm going to have a deity list. That's going to be Chuck, Amara, and I'm also going to include Jack. And then it also has demons in the show, so I'm going to have a demons list. These lists are not all inclusive for the show. It's a great show. I just love it. We have Crowley, Lilith, Meg, and we'll have Yellow Eyes, which I think is Azazel, but I forget his name. Anyways. All right. So the first method that we're going to use is the extend method. So the archangels and the deities in the show are very, very powerful. So I might just want to extend the archangels list with the deity list. So to do that, I would type archangels list, and I'm using VS Code, which is a free text editor here. So when I start to type the letters for archangels list, it auto suggests for me, and then I can hit tab and expand. So if you're wondering why I'm able to expand it so quickly, that's a feature in several text editors, and especially in this VS Code text editor that I'm using. All right, I'm going to type extend, and you'll see again it auto suggests for me to use extend. I'm going to hit tab again, and then I want to put the list that I'm going to extend it with, which is the deity list, which again it helps me out that autocomplete. Now, to see this come out on our program, I want to print it. So I'm going to print the archangels list. And when I do that, what I'm going to get is I'm going to get Michael, Lucifer, Raphael, Gabriel, then Chuck, Amara, and Jack. Okay, so let's print it. And you'll see we get Michael, Lucifer, Raphael, Gabriel, Chuck, Amara, and Jack. Okay. I can close this terminal out with this little trash bucket here, that little symbol, so I can do that. The next method I'm going to cover is the remove method. And as I cover these, I'm just going to comment out my previous code. So I'm going to highlight this with the mouse and then just do Control/, and that's going to comment it out. That's a nice little feature in VS Code as well. Okay. So what I'm going to do is take a list here. I'm going to cover the remove method. Now, Joe, in, I believe it's season 4, gets killed. All right. So we want to remove her from the human list. So I'm going to take human list. I'm going to type remove, and you'll see it auto suggests remove. And then we're going to pass in the item Joe. Now we're going to print the human list. Okay. So now when I run this, it should print this list here, but without Joe. So let's run it. And you'll see it prints Bobby, Sam, Dean, and Mary, but no Joe. Okay. Let's close that out. Let's comment these out. Okay. The next method I'm going to talk about is the pop method, where you can take the last item from the list, remove it from that list, but put it in a variable. So I'm going to create a variable all with lowercase letters and underscores, which is like a PEP 8 kind of standard. It's like a styling standard. I'm going to write Dean's underscore mother equals the human list dot pop, because Dean's mother is Mary, dot pop. So we're going to pop Mary from the list and store it in the variable Dean's mother. And now I'm going to print Dean's mother, and I should get Mary when I run the program. So I'm going to run the program, and you'll see that it outputs Mary. Okay. All right, let's close that out, and let's comment this out. Okay, the next thing I want to cover is deleting a list, an item from the list, okay? And we do this with the index number of the list. So the index number of the list refers to the position of an item in the list, but in computer speak, the first item in the list is 0, then we go 1, 2, 3, and 4. So because I've commented this stuff out, if I print the human list, we're going to get Joe back in there, right? So let's just do that. Let's print the human list. And if we run this, we should get the list with Joe. So we get the list with Joe, okay? But let's say I want to delete Joe from the list, okay? So I can say delete, then the name of the list, human list, and then I pass in the index of Joe, which, again, Bobby's 0, Sam is 1, Dean is 2, and Joe would be 3. Okay? So now, if I print the human list again, so the first list is going to, I still haven't commented this out, so it's going to print the first list with Joe in it, and then it's going to print it again with Joe not in it. Okay? So you'll see it prints the first list with Joe, the second list without Joe, okay? So let's comment these lines out. Again, that's with Control / once I highlight them. Okay, let's say we want to clear a list totally. Okay, so in Supernatural, there are multiple universes, so maybe there's a universe where there are no demons. So let's take the demon list. We'll take the demons list, and we'll use the clear method, which we just type .clear and then opening and closing parentheses. Now if I print the demons list, I'm going to get just an opening and closing square bracket without any names in it. All right, so let's run this. And you'll see we get the opening and closing square bracket without any names in it, okay? All right, let's comment that out. Okay, so the next item I want about is talk about the number of items in the list. So Dean is my favorite character, so let me go up to my human list and we'll add Dean and Dean again, okay? So now what I'll do is I'll go down here, I'll take the human list, and I want to count the number of times that Dean is in there. So I use .count, and then I pass in Dean, okay? And I want to print this out, so I'm going to surround it with a print statement, okay? So now if I run this, I should get 3. Okay? So I get 3, all right? So I could also print, let's say, the demons list, and we'll count the number of times that Crowley is in the list. Okay, so if I do this, I should get, well, I still haven't commented this out, so I should get 3, and then I should get 1, because Crowley's only in the list 1 time. So if I run this, I get 3 and 1, okay? So that's the count method. So I'm going to comment this stuff out, and I'm going to remove the extra Deans because there is only really 1 Dean in Supernatural, or at least 1 Dean that matters. And now what I'm going to do is I'm I'm going to talk about finding the index of an item. So let's say I wanted to find where Dean is in the list, the humans list, and I want to find the position. And remember, the first position is 0, second position is 1, third position is 2. So Dean should actually be at position 3. So I'm going to print the humans list, or the human list, and then I'm going to use the .index method and pass in Dean. So what this should do is this should print out 2 because Dean is in position 3. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run it, and you'll see it prints out 2 because, again, Dean is the third position in the list. Okay, all right, we're going to comment that out. And then I'm going to talk about sorting the list alphabetically. So let's say I wanted to sort the human list alphabetically. Well, I can use the sort method. So I can take the human list and I can sort, and I'm going to put an opening and closing parentheses here. And now if I print the human list, you're going to see that it's sorted alphabetically. So I go ahead and we have B, then D, then J, then M, then S, right? Now I'm going to do something up here. I'm going to take Bobby and I'm going to take his, the first letter of his name and put it in lowercase. Now I'm going to print the list, again, sorted in alphabetical order. So you see Dean, Joe, Mary, Sam, and then Bobby is after the rest. So why is that? Well, it turns out that the ASCII characters for uppercase letters are lower than the ASCII characters for lowercase letters. So the ASCII character for lowercase b is actually after the ASCII character for uppercase S. So that's why it prints out that way. Okay. All right, so let's change that back to a capital B. Let's comment this out. And let's now just reverse the order of the list in its original form. And we can do that with reverse. So I'm going to take the human list and I'm going to use the reverse method. Okay. And now I'm going to print the human list. And now when I print this, it should start with Mary, go to Joe, then Dean, then Sam, then Bobby. And you'll see it goes Mary, Joe, Dean, Sam, and Bobby. Okay. All right, let's close that out. And let's comment this stuff out. Okay, so now let's say I wanted to sort the list in reverse alphabetical order. Okay, not just reverse the list, but actually have the list go in reverse alphabetical order. Well, I can do that. I can take the human list and I can sort, and I can pass in reverse equals true. And you'll see that VS Code is kind of telling me, hey, you can do this. And so I'm going to print the human list. Okay, and now I should get it in reverse alphabetical order. Okay, so I get Sam, Mary, Joe, Dean, and Bobby. So B is before D, it's before J, it's before M, it's before S. Okay, so that's reverse alphabetical order. Okay. All right, let's say I want to append to the end of the list. So in season 6, the beginning of season 6, this regular angel named Castiel becomes so powerful that he's as powerful as a deity. So let's say I want to append or put his name on the end of the list. I can do that with the append method. So I can take the deity list and then append the character Castiel. And now if I want to go here and print the deity list, you'll see that Castiel, his name is at the end of the list. So let's run that. And I get Chuck, Amara, Jack, and then Castiel. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the copy method. Okay. So, there is a method. Let's say I want to create another deity list. Well, that's going to equal the deity list dot copy. Okay, now let's print another deity list. Okay, so if we print that, well, let's see what we get. We're going to get Chuck, Amara, and Jack. Now remember, I commented out Append and Castiel. So it just now that I don't have Castiel on the deity list, it just took the original deity list and copied it to this other list that I assigned with the variable. Okay. Let's comment this out. Let's say I want to insert something into the list. Okay. So in an alternate universe of Supernatural, there's another Michael. Okay. So let's say I want to insert Michael 2 ahead of Michael, or actually let's insert it as the second position. So that'd be index 1. So let's take the Archangels list and let's insert at position 1, Michael 2. Okay, and now let's print the Archangels list. Okay. So we're going to print it. We have Michael, then we have at position index 1, which is actually the second position, Michael 2, Lucifer, Raphael, Gabriel. Okay, so that's how you insert something into a list. And I think for right now, that covers most of the stuff I wanted to cover about lists. It's not all inclusive, but it's a pretty good start with lists. So what I would do is create your own lists, use these methods that I've talked about, practice manipulating the lists with these methods until you get proficient at it. And if you've liked this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. It really does help the channel grow. I'll also leave links to my social links in the description below in case you want to follow me on any of those links. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Have a great day.